Hello, and welcome to Outsystems, the industry-leading low-code application development platform that empowers you to build and deploy cloud-native applications in a fraction of the time it would take using traditional code. Today, I'm going to introduce and demonstrate Outsystems Mentor. Mentor is the industry's first full SDLC digital worker that enables you to create and edit apps rapidly by using natural language. The app generator will create a complete application based on a user's prompt or by uploading a requirements file. AppGen capabilities include integration with external systems using our data fabric technology and can easily use retrieval augmented generation or RAG to enhance your app's capabilities. App Generator will create all the key components of your application, including UI, logic, and data models, and it can even generate sample users and data for testing. The App Editor component of Mentor allows business users or developers to continue using the intuitive, easy-to-use interface to modify the application that was generated by adding additional functionality such as new tables or table attributes. You can even modify the screen designs easily from the editor to change the layout of screens such as lists or dashboards. This allows users to iterate through various changes to determine the best approach and the best look and feel for the applications they're generating. Mentor is designed to update and disrupt the standard operating model of the application development process. By using Mentor AppGen and App Edit capabilities, customers can realize significant gains in their organization's productivity and their ability to deliver software functionality to their end users and customers. By using our Mentor technologies, you can reduce the lead time to first value and deliver fully baked applications in a fraction of the time it would take to build apps using traditional code. Our early metrics are showing LTFV improving in some cases from a previous time to value of 10 days to an incredible realization of first value in only 5 minutes. Okay, so now let's move on to the demonstration. The first thing we'll look at is the ODC portal. In the ODC portal, you can see all your applications and workflows. You can see the delivery and deployment overview, app health, including monitoring of logs and traces, integrations to external logic or data connections, user management and organizational management, as well as additional configurations for email and domains, and our Outsystems repository, The Forge. With ODC, you can create in our ODC Studio IDE, or we can use Mentor by creating with AI. First thing I'd like to do while I'm building with Mentor, in this case, is I'm going to upload a requirement specification for an automobile order management system. Once I select that file, I can actually go in and show you the document. As you can see here, we have a requirements document with all the information about the system context, the functional requirements, the purpose of the application, and a diagram of the relationships of some of the entities in the proposed application. When you upload this into Mentor, Mentor will create the app based on that specification. Now here, I can also use text to make some suggestions. So for example, I might want to change the color scheme. So I'd like to make this particular application a dark Skobeloff theme. So I'm going to enter that information into the prompt along with the document, and then I will hit the arrow button here to generate the application. Now, I'm going to condense the timeline a little bit. This takes about 5 minutes or so, depending on the complexity of the application. And once it's completed, you'll notice that now I have an order management system with data, number of tables. I have a number of roles as well. So we have administrator roles, a sales rep role, inventory manager. We have tables like supplier and customer. I can go in right here and edit this. So for example, I may want to change this to account because I know that I have an account entity in our Salesforce database, and I'd like to connect to Salesforce in this instance. So I'm going to go ahead and select account, and you can see the little cloud icon next to that, basically indicating that we are using the integrated data from Salesforce in this case. I want to make sure each and every one of these other tables is being generated with AI rather than pulling from other existing tables in our environment. And then once I've completed my general specifications, I can go ahead and click Generate to start building the application. So again, I'm condensing the timeline. This particular part, the generation part, would take a few minutes, but making this quicker for the demo here, you notice that once it's completed, I get a diagram showing all the screens that are generated, as well as relationships among the screens. So you can see, for example, there's an order table with order details, or a supplier table with supplier details. We've got our order forms, we've got our product forms. All of this was generated automatically. Now, I may want to change some of these tables or add some different capabilities here right from the editor. So I can go in here and look over the app overview on the right-hand pane, and I can right-click one of these items. And I might want to add a different status, for example. So we'll put an approved status in here that I'm going to want to use for my application. And just go ahead and set approved, click that, and now we've added a new table. You can see that the purple and the green dots indicate the areas that were impacted by this change. And you can see that the different tables are all going to be updated appropriately to ensure that that new value is there. I've also added a rejected status as well, so we can do both approved or rejected. Now, I also want to add a shipping address for the order here because we didn't have a shipping address initially. And again, you can see how easy it is to add and modify your applications. You just come into this visual editor, which is a web-based application tool, and from here, you can build out your applications. And you can see each of the screens has got a little indicator that shows that that was changed. And this is a great way to iterate through the process of building your applications throughout the life cycle of it without necessarily having to use an IDE for development. Now, when I click Publish, it is going to publish this application to our development server, and then I can preview the application in real time and see what the application looks like. Here you can see we have some sample users, so there are sample logins for those sample users. Again, making it very easy to test and explore the application. And now we can see our dashboard. We have a dashboard with an order status distribution, top selling products, performance of our suppliers. And we can see there's a menu at the top, so we can take a look at our orders. We can look at supplier information. We can even add orders or sort by status here. There's a number of different capabilities that come with this generated application. We can see base products. We can see various option packages. All of these screens and all of the relationships between these screens and their entities and on the data side were generated for us by the Mentor system. Now, once the application's been generated and published, you can actually go into ODC Studio, which is our development environment for ODC, and you can find the application in your ODC Studio and open it up to edit it. So you notice that I found my car order management system number 7. The number 7 is only because we've been doing some testing and we have a couple of different versions of this in here. The number 7 is the one I just created. And here you have a view of the IDE. So when I click Dashboard in the Elements pane to the right, you can see the screen that we were showing previously in the preview of the application. Outsystems Developer Cloud supports event-driven applications to allow you to create loosely coupled apps. So I'm going to go ahead and create an event here called Order Created. And I'm going to add a couple of input parameters that I will pass to this. What happens here is that when an order is created in the system, I want this event to be fired off so I can trigger a workflow that will continue some of the processing for that order. So again, I add in a couple of input parameters. Now I can go and take a look at the Logic tab. So what I want to do here is create a service action. You'll notice that in the IDE, we have server actions and client actions and service actions. In this case, I want to create a service action to set the order status once the order is completed. Setting order status will change it from an open order to a closed order or an approved order or a rejected order, that type of thing. And this particular function is going to require the similar input parameters. So we're going to want the order ID and the order status ID as well. Now, what I can do here is I can do, using our AI built into the IDE, I can just simply say I want to get order by ID. And the development tool will give us an aggregate, which is basically a visual tool that allows you to create a query. This query is going to get all our orders by ID, and if I go here, you can see that I have some filtering involved here, so I'm setting my ID equal to the order ID, and you can take a look at the data and even preview the data. Now, once I get my order IDs, I'm going to want to assign variables. So what I need to do is I need to select a variable from the get order by ID, and I'm going to say the order status ID will be set from the ID, the order status ID that was sent to this action. So this action is take an input of order status ID, and now we're going to assign that order status to the account or the order that we just pulled up by using this aggregate. Next thing I'll do is drag an action to update the orders. And again, I can use the current ID, the get order by list, the current ID of the current order. Then I'm going to update the status by using this particular action. Now, once I'm done, I can go back to my logic tab here, and I'm going to open up the order create or update method, because what I want to do here is trigger the event that we created previously. So I can go ahead and click the order created event. I'll need to give it the input parameters that we set up, the order ID and the order status ID. We're going to set those parameters. And once we set those parameters, you'll know that the red button at the top, notice that the red button at the top turns green. It means you're ready to publish your application. You've gotten rid of all your errors and everything is ready to be compiled. Now, the next thing I'm doing here is I want to set these entities, the order status ID and the order, to public entities, because later in the demonstration, I'm going to show how you can use an AI agent that you can create in Outsystems to utilize these values to complete the tasks that you're trying to accomplish. So now I'm going to go over to the Outsystems AI Agent Builder technology. AI Agent Builder is a technology that allows you to build natural language agents that can power your applications. And this relies on retrieval augmented generation and other capabilities, along with choosing different models that you would like to work with. So in this case, I'm going to take a look at some configurations, and you notice that I have Bedrock and OpenAI and GPT. A number of different models are available. I'm going to want to add a data source here, and what I'm going to do is, you notice that I can search for Azure or Amazon, and you can create custom connectors. In this case, I'm just going to use application data, and you'll notice that the application, once I select my application, I can find the public entities of order and order status ID that I previously selected. So if I come in here and I drop down the apps, I want to select my car order management system application number 7. Once I click that, you'll notice that here we go. Order and order status are available to me to be used for my AI agent. So if I click add data source, now we're going to use those entities as the data source for the agent I'm building for my car order management system. I'm going to go ahead and name it EAA car order management, and then I'll go ahead and click add data source, and now I've completed the data source for my agent. You can see that I see it right here. I've got the car order management. Now what I want to do is create an agent. So with Agent Builder, you basically use natural language to give the AI a role and a task. You notice we have a number of models in this. We're going to grab GPT-4 for now, but many models are becoming in the future. We're continuing to increase the number of models that are available for this capability. We want this to act as a validator entity, and what we're really going to do is verify that the order shipping address is in Texas. We're going to answer with JSON structures so we can have a structured response from the AI, and now I can go ahead and click Add Data. Now, AI Agent Builder is another AI capability offered by Outsystems that allows you to build agents that you can then incorporate into your Outsystems applications. And I'll show you that in a moment. Once we save the agent, we'll be able to incorporate it into our application and start to use it for our car order management system. I'm going to go ahead and just save the agent by calling it this, and then I need to copy this ID because I'm going to use that ID in the Outsystems Developer Cloud Studio to point to this particular agent in the processing of the application as we're working through it. So now I'm going to go back to my IDE here, ODC Studio, and I'm going to just change the name of this from Car Management number 7. I'm going to just call it EAA, those are my initials. And you can see you can also change the theme here. You can upload an image, like an icon for your application if you want as well. So it's very flexible in how you do your applications from ODC Studio. Now I'm going to go back to my ODC console, and I'm going to go to the Workflow tab and create a new workflow. So the gist of what I'm trying to accomplish here is that when an order is created, we're going to fire off an event that will trigger this workflow to check whether the order can be approved or not based on the results that we get back from our AI agent that we just created. To create a workflow, you give it a starting point, and the starting point in our case is based on the order created event that we created in the EAA car management system. So that event will trigger this workflow. So when one creates or updates an order, this event will get triggered. Now with our workflow builder here, we can just click to add automatic or human activities. In this case, I'm going to use an automatic activity, and I'm going to go ahead and use one from the AI wrapper that we have to wrap the AI agent, and we're going to call it we're going to use the call agent functionality of that agent. Now you notice I had to paste my agent ID in here so it knows which AI agent to use. And I'm going to give it a prompt to tell the AI agent to check this particular order. So I'm going to say, please check order, and I will use a concatenation with the plus sign to use the order ID of the current order. So again, as you recall, that event takes an order ID and an order status ID as a parameter. In this case, I'm just going to look at the order ID and use that as a parameter. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a decision point here so I can do outcome 1 and outcome 2. I'm going to rename these to true or false, but basically we're going to decide if the order is approved based on the criteria that we passed through the AI agent. So now I can say if call agent returns is valid, we're going to use that for the true condition. So I'll go ahead and select is valid and close the little dialog box. And then for outcome number 2, I'm going to actually rename this one to true at some point. And on the second output, it's going to be the default or the false option. So here we go. I'm going to name this true. And outcome 2, I'm going to call false. So basically whether it's approved or not, and then we'll end the workflow at this point. It's a very simple workflow. We can add additional activities. So in this case, I'm going to add another automatic activity for the true condition. And what I'm going to do here is go ahead and find my application again. So I need to select my car order management system, and the action that I want to use is to set the order status as well. So once the agent provides an approval, we set the status to approved. Basically, that's the gist of this. So again, we're going to pass the order ID, and we're going to pass the order status ID, which will be the approved status. So now you notice I can go into my expression builder here. Here you can do complex expressions that you want to use. So you can use regular expressions for your conditionals and things like that. So we can go in here and use the approved status that we just added when we were building this with the AI Mentor. So I'm going to set this current order to approved. Otherwise, I will just end and not make any changes. So I'm going to go ahead and publish the workflow. You need to publish the workflow to make it live in your environment. And once it's published, we can work with that workflow in our application. Now, going back to ODC Studio, you'll notice that the button, the one-click publish button is now blue. I can open my application in the browser again, and I can click to log in as one of my sample users. And what we can do here is go to orders and add a new order. So we're going to test this out and see if we can add a new order or maybe edit an existing order. I'm going to go ahead and edit this particular order. You'll notice that it has an address in Texas, so we can verify this. We have a couple of items in the order, and we're going to go ahead and click Confirm Order. Now you notice that the status changed from pending to confirmed. And now I'm going to go over to my workflows, and I'll go back to the console, and you'll notice that if I refresh the screen, we have instances. Our workflows are instance, so you can see the status of any given instance. You notice that this last instance that I just ran completed the automatic activity and to the end and changed the status. And if I go back to the actual application on the browser and click refresh, it's going to show that the status has been approved. So again, we created an event-driven application by making a few modifications, added a workflow, and basically created an application in just a few minutes using Outsystems AI Mentor capabilities to generate and edit your applications. If you'd like to learn more about Outsystems, come visit us at www.outsystems.com. Thank you for your time.